I hope we get another chance to see a full circle here. Badger might be able to pull it off, and Bumblebee. Nope, Badger's just going to cap it. 4-cap lead here for center of attention. Bumblebee.
ShotCallers is designed as an adult drinking game but may be viewed without consumption of alcohol. Consumption of alcoholic beverages impairs your ability to operate machinery and may cause health problems. We do not recommend misuse of alcohol, including excessive consumption, binge drinking, drinking and driving, and/or underage drinking. It is the viewer's responsibility to monitor and moderate their alcohol consumption. ShotCallers cannot assume any responsibility for the effect that our content may have on people. If this stream lasts for longer than 4 hours, contact your doctor immediately. Batteries not included.
Hello everyone and welcome to ShotCallers. We're here to bring you yet another action-packed evening of Major League Tag Pro action. This evening we'll be watching the Rolling Golden Boulders take on Boostin Dynamo in what promises to be quite the thriller. I'm Ron Sponson and I'm joined by Liquid, and we've got Pithy behind the scenes running the stream, and together we're bringing you ShotCallers, Tag Pro's favorite drinking game.
And so by now you guys must be used to me telling you the drinking game rules, but for those new viewers tuning in, because we all know how quickly Tag Pro's community is growing, a cap is a drink, nub step is 2 drinks, and any successful showboat, that's a shot. And I made sure to mention to both teams before the game to get those boats in, because we want to get hammered tonight.
And we certainly might with these two teams that are coming in. Looking at the numbers here, we've got Rolling Golden Boulders coming in middle of the pack and Boostin Dynamo at the top of their division. Cap differential is pretty close here, both of them with a positive captive, but Rolling Golden Boulders might have the edge if you consider the last statistic, the number of letters in their team name. They got 7 more letters. Think they're compensating for anything?
That might very well be. I believe that's the longest name in MLTP right now. We actually had to change a few of our scenes around to make sure the names could fit into the scoreboards and all that pre-game stuff. So that's always a fun little factoid. Speaking of the Rolling Golden Boulders, they have an interesting roster tonight because one of their players, Felon Fred, also known as Sunshoots, is unavailable tonight, and so he will be replaced by his colleague Melonhead, who you guys may also know under the name of Ego. And don't ask why their names are like that, even their teammates don't really know. So on offense then, we've got a pairing of Panoxt and Ego. Panoxt has put up 35 caps so far this season and has been back to his dominant self. He's just such a slippery guy, and I can't wait to see what he can do on Sphere. And on obviously he's paired with Ego, who is known as the two-way waffle. And this guy can kind of do it all, but he's more of a big game, big play kind of player. And so you won't necessarily see that much consistency from his game, but when he's on fire and he's untouchable. I mean, he was part of that Super Bowl winning team back in Season 10 with the Holden Gate Warriors, and alongside him was Iblis, who was playing on that same team. He's here again tonight, pairing alongside Genesis for a defense that when they've been playing together, they've been really good. Now on the other side of things, we've got Boostin's roster, and these are a lot of familiar names, especially this season. They're riding high, 4th in the league, and in no small part thanks to Intercess and Stan's stellar work on defense. Intercess, who, as you all know, has switched from offense to defense after getting inducted into the Super Bowl, and he hasn't lost a step. The guy is on fire. Stan obviously putting up some great support numbers. And on offense, you've got the support god in Viles playing alongside JJ Poole. Those two have looked really good, much better than I think most people expected, considering JJ is mostly known as an average to above average defender. All of a sudden he's coming into MLTP as an offensive player and tearing it up. So these two will be quite the challenge for a defensive Iblis and Genesis. And finally, on to the team stats. Just to get a quick overview of these teams' playstyles, you've got Rolling Golden Boulders, who are much more offensive heavy than defensive heavy. And you can see that in the stats right now. I mean, they've got 106 cap for, which is good for 4th in the league, but unfortunately their defense has been quite leaky as well. And that makes for one of the highest event teams in the league, meaning the amount of caps for and against that they see is 4th in the league. There's only 3 other teams that have had more caps for and against. So we're in for a lot of action. And on the other side of the board, you've got Boostin, who are much more solid defensively than most teams in the league, and their offense has got some pretty good stats as well. Not quite as dominant, but against a team like Rolling Golden Boulders, I get the feeling we'll be seeing a lot of caps both ways.
We've gotten a little bit of info from a league correspondent, the Bob 18, who is telling us that Felon Fred is actually Sunships, not Ego.
Right. Yeah, I believe Felon Fred is Sunships and Melonhead is Ego. And Melonhead is the one subbing in tonight. So Ego will be playing in place of Sunships. And all this confusion brought to you by the Rolling Golden Boulders chain name changing antics. And so thank you so much to Melonhead and Felon Fred for making sure that these tongue twisters remain on stream.
And we've had a bit of news this week in Tag Pro and Major League Tag Pro. The biggest news that everyone has been watching is the race for 360 degrees. It was down pretty neck and neck between Freakball and Liddy, with Freakball with a good lead towards the 360, but Liddy was just making tons of progress. Now Freakball is just one win away, and Liddy Lid has he's at about 357 degrees, so a few more wins, but looks like Freakball, at least for the moment, is sitting on that last win.
Freakball definitely has the moral victory, but I think he's waiting probably to try to get that last degree alongside Liddy, who has gotten every flare before everyone else, and I think Freakball wants to honor that with a bit of a ceremony, but you never know what's going through his mind. Maybe his computer died with, unfortunately, one win left. You never know. But if you look at Liddy, just a quick parenthesis, his stats, his game playing stats are insane for the last week. In fact, for the last 2 weeks, this guy has 33,000 rank points or something along those lines. The second place on the monthly leaderboard, is it 30,000? No. Is it 20,000? No, it's 12,000 rank points. This guy has almost 3 times as many games in as the second top player this month. He has been a machine. And so it wasn't quite enough to catch up to Freakball, who, as soon as he saw Liddy turn on the jets, Freakball realized he had to start getting some wins of his own. But huge props to Liddy for coming back without missing a beat like that. Now this week there's also been some interesting news in MLTP. With a pretty big blockbuster trade coming in, we got news that Trippy sent Cynical to ProTag in exchange for CB13 and 9 tag coins. And unfortunately for Eat Tripoli, the Republicans won't be benefiting from CB13 services, as it appears that he's quit as soon as he got traded. Whereas Cynical, who had previously quit, has since unquit now that he's reunited with ProTag. Those two made the Super Bowl finals together before losing to Iblis and Ego in that fateful Super Bowl 10. So who knows, maybe they can rekindle that chemistry. And things just keep getting worse for the Republicans. After having CB13 quit on them right after getting traded, they also ended up dropping G-Man. Lucky for them, though, they were able to pick up Quibble, who was dropped earlier in the season. And so potentially, if she can recapture some of that form, some of that chemistry from Ball Out 4 and bring it to the Republicans, maybe that can help save their season. Only time will tell.
Something else that was dropped earlier this season that is going to be making a return is the map Pilot, coming due to a couple vetoes from captains. It is actually going to be returning, and we're going to be seeing it this season alongside Scorpio.
Yeah, I believe Scorpio and Pilot were the 2 maps that were set to be replaced with Market and Atomic at the beginning of the season. Tonight it seems like we're going to be seeing we're going to be seeing Scorpio and Pilot make their reappearance after that controversial veto at the beginning of the season. And I gotta say, I'm happy to be seeing Scorpio. We saw some great action on it last week. Pilot, not so sure. I don't think it's a great map. Too many spikes for my opinion, but everyone has their own tastes. That map maker made his choices, and that's that. We'll see how it plays tonight.
Lots of bombs in that one.
Maybe a bit too much.
So for you guys that are watching, we have the Jump Cup Halftime Challenge, which is Tag Pro's, or our version of beer pong. It's the halftime game that you, the viewer, can participate in live. We're opening up signups now, so if you'd like to participate, you have to first follow this channel, and then you can enter the signup by typing !jump in chat.
So make sure that you follow all these steps diligently, because you got a chance to make it onto the leaderboard, and depending on what happens later this season, we might be inviting the top performance back for a Jump Cup final. So get those jumps in, get those follows in, and make sure you're on Mumble so that we can reach you easily for that halftime show.
And we've been seeing some action on this leaderboard. Last week we saw Frozen come onto the leaderboard, getting 6th place with 171 power-ups. BDL is up at the top with 276. That's the number to beat.
And it's definitely beatable. We've tried a few rounds while we were practicing those stream setups, and it's definitely possible to reach over 400. So there's room for improvement, guys. I believe in you. Now, Ron, tonight, before we get this game started, it seems like we're just waiting on a few last-minute transitions for the rosters. Obviously, we're the drinking stream. I want to know, what are you drinking?
Well, my drink of choice for the evening is going to be the Toppling Goliath Pseudo Sue Pale Ale.
Where have I heard that before?
Well, you caught me. I actually had this a few weeks ago in the stream and did not make it to the liquor store in time for them to close. They close early here in Minnesota, 6 o'clock. So I've been scraping the bottom of the barrel of the fridge. Got a couple of these guys left, and
Nice.
that's, yeah.
Oh, they seem to have treated you well a couple weeks back. I'm sure you'll do fine again.
What about you?
I'm clocking in with some Heineken. That's usually my go-to beer for watching Champions League matches. I don't know, this advertising just really works for me. So typically my soccer beer tonight, it's going to be my Tag Pro beer. I guess we do have a pseudo-soccer reference with the Boostin Dynamo harkening from the Houston Dynamo of the MLS, but that's about as close as it gets.
And I am drinking the Pseudo Sue. So there's a connection right there for you.
Beautiful. How about you guys? What are you drinking tonight? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to see if we have anyone upstaging us with our beer choices. Or perhaps, maybe you're drinking root beer. No shame.
I know we've had people repping water in the past. Make sure you stay hydrated, especially those of you that are going to be following along with us.
Yeah, do one sip of beer every time there's a cap and one sip of water every time there's a return. And hope that you don't burst by the end of the game. Get a couple bathroom breaks in.
We're getting some creative ones now. Reformed Hen is going to be drinking coconut milk.
And apparently we're going to have a couple viewers, or maybe just Will, who's drinking antifreeze. But send us that mixed drink recipe. We want to see it.
Keystone, miso, basically water.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Lots of different options out there. Whatever you guys are drinking, make sure to enjoy it.
We don't have any Bear Grylls aficionados here drinking their own urine. Nobody?
Not yet.
If this game gets 100 caps, I'll drink my own urine next week.
Holy cow.
Or maybe I'll just drink Coors Light, which is basically the same thing.
Oh, that's a cop-out. That is a cop-out.
All right, if there are 100 caps tonight, you can count on me.
It'd be partially your fault, right?
Get the collusion in, guys. So it seems like we're just waiting right now on Genesis to make her way into the team she has, and so we should be ready and set to go. We're just getting the ready.
Let's
for
make
both
some
teams.
predictions. How many showboats do you think we're going to see this evening? You didn't see any last week.
Yeah, I don't know. I made sure to tell both teams to showboat, and RGB told me they're not used to the showboats. They got to practice their technique. But you never know. I could see a guy like Ego getting a bit fancy with a bit of time. I'm going to say one showboat for each team. And I think RGB is going to do it first, and then Boostin, not to be outdone, is going to follow up with a showboat of their own. And I'll give it to Viles, actually. I think Viles is the one who will showboat. He's typically more of the down-to-business player. He gets all the dirty work done and makes sure everything is, the path is cleared for JJ. I could see him trying to steal a bit of the spotlight there with a showboat of his own.
While we're talking about those, I do want to say, too, I have been waiting. We almost had the full circle earlier in the season. Have still yet to see that. I want to see these boats be a little memorable. We've seen some uninspiring boats in the past.
Yeah, none of this just waiting before the flag stuff. We want some, do a figure eight around the flag. Do, a triple 360-degree rotation. I want to see some fancy stuff.
It's kind of like the if you watch football, after they score a touchdown, they'll do some crazy celebration where they do this elaborate rowing the boat with the whole team. I want to see them creating some formation or something.
Oh my god, that would be fantastic. We're evolving the showboating technique here on ShotCallers. This is the next step of Tag Pro. This is how we gain all our viewers.
And here we go, starting the first game of the evening. Melonhead coming into base on offense. On his own, trying to grab against Intercess and Stan.
He's going to go for the solo grab. It looks like he's going to wait for Pinoxt to come in with a boost, but Inter diligently gets ahead of the boost, and I was just blocking Pinoxt away. Pinoxt has it, though. He has the angle, and couldn't quite make it through. Meanwhile, Viles gets returned, and JJ's going to wait for the grab.
Melonhead really wanted that bomb, but it's only a few seconds away here. Stan's able to close in solo, get the return, and Intercess back to get the reset as another round of bombs. The first round of bombs spawns back up.
And that was a great 1-2 play with Viles getting bombed out by JJ Pool. He's going to try to boost in, and the boost in doesn't work.
But Genesis boosting ahead, and now JJ Poole has 4 to beat, and they're just closing in on him, pushing him backwards to the map, and trying to get creative up at the top. They're not going to pull it off, and the first round of power-ups is coming up here. Noxt is going to get uncontested juke juice and take that on offense, but Intercess effectively nullifies it, sitting on that flag with this Tag Pro.
And Knox uses the bomb beautifully. Intercess. Tag Pro spikes himself, and now Genesis is the only one left. Stan gets returned the first cap of the evening. Knox brings it in and takes the lead for a rolling golden boulder.
Genesis with a monster snipe gets a double tag, doubles back, gets another tag, and completely opens up that cap, and RGB is going to take the early lead off of that, and that's a drink for those of you guys following along at home.
And now we got Intercess on offense. JJ stays back on D, and we're back to the more traditional positions for these two players. Let's see if they can make anything interesting happen. Vile steals the grab, goes for the handoff. Intercess is in a bad position. He's going to double back into the bomb, but Genesis reads him like a book and gets that button before he can do anything.
Bit of miscommunication there. It looked like he was going to be able to have a grab off, but then Vile's boosting in and close that opportunity up. But Melonhead is out. They're looking to extend the lead to 2. Stan pulls that rolling bomb. Melonhead's he's gonna maybe take a lap here.
And good play by the Boostin Dynamo here. But just a second, Stan has to stay alive. Pinox gets his own return, and now the score is 2-0. Boostin getting shocked in this first half.
I don't know if anyone saw RGB coming ahead with this big of a lead this early on. They are really firing on all cylinders here.
And as we said earlier, they're a team that caps a lot. They have 106 caps so far this season. That's good for 4th best in the league. Thing is, they get capped on a lot too. And so what they'll have to make sure they're doing is watch out in their rearview mirror, because Boostin is not a team to go down easy. And Melonhead, a beautiful stutter step. He's going to have to weave his way through here, and he can't quite make it. But Melonhead just showing off some crazy moves to start off the half.
Knox with the flag and going to have to double backwards. Another round of power-ups is just a few moments away. Let's see if he can buy enough time for it. But Intercess with the decisive snipe, returning the flag. And here come the pups.
And JJ Poole takes advantage of this pup distraction, gets ahead of 2 defenders, but unfortunately gets contained by Pinox and Genesis and is going to get returned.
Pinox with the flag coming through this portal. He's got a potential chance. Intercess is going to be able to shake things up with that rolling bomb, buys him enough time for all 4 players to get into base. And now Genesis is taking the flag off a regrab.
Oh, and she gets just past. Is going to get beautiful blocks, and coming in, the score is 3-0 in favor of Rolling Golden Boulders. And I believe it's 3 different cappers.
And they're not showing any sign of slowing down here. Pinox coming into base. They have the checkerboard diamond set up. Great OD here from Stan and JJ Poole, forcing Pinox to take another lap. And right now just killing a bit of time as Intercess is playing anti. Right now Viles is the only pressure on Pinox, and I don't think Pinox should have pushed forward like that and essentially forced the hand.
It's an interesting play. I mean, smart play by Intercess to go for the anti-re, especially considering the circumstances. You just want your team to come back, get level-headed, and get the momentum back in your direction. But if I were Peanut there, after seeing Boostin grab, you want to wait for the return before anything else. And unfortunately, it didn't really work out there. Now, JJ Poole has to stay alive a couple extra seconds. He baits one RGB player into the spike, another one spikes himself, and now we got a situation almost returns the cap the other way if he can get the nub.
Genesis is going to be able to take out the flag, and they end up kissing. Works out well with that juke juice on the flag carrier, and now Iblis with the flag. Viles just sitting on this bomb, gets returned, looking dangerous. Yes, Iblis manages to squeak it in, and now a 4-cap lead here. 4 unanswered caps for RGB.
And I stand corrected from earlier. Now we have 3 different cappers with everyone except for Genesis, or is it Melonhead who hasn't capped? I believe so. Everyone except for Ego has gotten on the board, so gonna have to step it up here if he wants to stay in the roster.
Intercess with a good button, and maybe Boostin Dynamo will get on the board here. They've got a couple people on base. Return for cap. Can Viles pull it off? Yes, he can. JJ Poole sneaks it in.
That was amazing block work, and Melonhead steals the tag throw away from the Boostin Dynamo. And that could have been really dangerous, but now he's going to try to use it to lead his team. Baits one into the spike, and now they've got a tag pro lead going. This is looking really good for RGB.
Viles is out with the tag pro as well. Return for cap for Boostin Dynamo. Pinox gets returned, and now Boostin Dynamo has cut the lead in half with 2 quick caps and looking to try to get a 3rd. Genesis with the flag doesn't really have to stay alive, but doesn't.
I have to say that was unfortunate play a bit of a lack of communication, perhaps even lack of coordination by Rolling Golden Boulders there. It looked like they had what looked like a likely cap, and instead things went south, things went the other way. Pinocchio wasn't able to get the boost in time, and now it looks like it could be a third cap. The blocks are there. Stan is going to try to be patient. Iblis there to try to get the button in time, and he does, using the bomb to his advantage, and now Melonhead is past 3. Viles has to make something happen with the bomb, gets forced into the bomb by Pinocchio, and manages or RGB rather, manages to get this 5th cap on the board and restore a 3-cap lead. This is some back and forth action, just as we'd predicted.
Unfortunate position for Viles. They're having to essentially give up the power-up to try to make a play on that and get the return. Ends up getting neither.
And a kiss would be really good here. Melonhead's going to try to get some moves in.
No!
And he can't, and the Poos his teammate away. No more OD, and we're back to a 2-cap game. 8 caps so far in the first 7 minutes of the game. This is
I think that goes down as a nub step. That's 2 drinks for those of you following along at home.
And we're seeing some very back and forth action. And I have to say, a lot of mistakes being shown here. Just some risky plays that just aren't quite paying off. Thing is, both teams are making them, so it makes for an entertaining gameplay.
Viles coming into base here. Just under 3 minutes to go as we got another round of power-ups. Teams are positioning for that. Peanut maybe going to try to take a... No. JJ Poole with the flag. Boosting right past Iblis. Past 3. There's the blocks. And now JJ Poole. No. Peanut somehow saves the cap. What a brilliant grab by Peanut. And now he's out past 2.
He's got a tag throw news. He has to tell him to rush out, but he doesn't. And RGB misses out on what could have been his 6th cap. That is a magnificent play by the Boostin Dynamo, but a monumental error by RGB. Now all of a sudden, Iblis is past 3, maybe past 4. Do they have the boost block in? They do, but Iblis isn't confident. He doesn't believe in the blocks, and he has to take a lap.
Not the time for JJ Poole to be boosting out of base there, rushing out so quickly, and now it looks like RGB's got a chance at sneaking a cap in. There's a flaccid almost, but Iblis has to pull back. A nice long-range snipe here from Melonhead.
And Iblis, I believe he could have had 1 or maybe 2 chances to cap there, depending on how confident he was, but he just maybe hesitated a bit too long both times. And now, luckily for him, he's still alive. There's still a chance that he can get a cap off this run. But you got to think, he might have wanted to get that in a bit earlier.
We got some power-ups coming up here. It's a rolling bomb, and Peanut steals it from Iblis. A very, not a very considerate move, but I didn't have much time to react. Although maybe he's still going to be able to pull something out of it. He has it diffused, gets returned. Viles, yeah.
I don't know. There's a rolling bomb on regrab, so it runs out just in time. Probably some good coordination there by RGB. The score is still 5-3. It feels like it's even more. It could be even more. And a great snipe by Genesis, picking up her 19th tag of the evening.
Now Viles is out, and a bit of bad timing on the spike here. Viles has got a bit of speed. Stan with the block, and Viles is going to have to double back around the corner. Iblis contained into the corner. Stan overcommitting slightly, but still ahead.
Iblis pulling some moves. We all know that he had that one season on offense, which was perhaps below his expectations. I mean, this guy is a Ball of Fame defender. But he showed some good offensive skills right there in that little run.
JJ Poole is going to be able to pick up this middle power-up. It is a Juke Juice, and now Peanut out with the flag. Going to try to boost past them, but Stan closing up that gap. And somehow, nice job, Melon coming on at that portal, opening up that lane for Melonhead.
And I feel like Genesis might be getting a bit too greedy with the tag throw here. Sometimes you just got to work with a strategy instead of baiting the tags. But either way, nothing too dangerous ends up happening out of that. And we're back to a reset for both teams with 20 seconds left.
Peanut off of this bomb, double bomb. Nice job by Peanut. Going to be out here. Viles has to hold on to this flag, and he does. Stan getting ahead, getting a few blocks here from Intercest and Stan, but Peanut from behind, from the backfield, getting that return. The final seconds expire with a 2-cap lead here for RGB.
And some non-stop back and forth action right now. This is the kind of tag that I love to watch because sure, there's a fair few mistakes, but it makes for some high-level entertainment. And especially with players and teams of this caliber, I have to admit I'm a bit surprised to see Intercess and company being flustered so early in the game. I believe the score was 3-0, perhaps even 4-0 before they were able to get a couple caps in. And lucky for them, they got them in quick succession, tried to recapture momentum, but it was a bit, maybe not quite enough for them. And they now sit 2 caps behind after the first half. Any predictions for half number 2, Ron?
Predictions for after number 2. I think we're going to see our first boat of the game. We haven't seen one yet this half. We saw there was a bit of questioning whether or not that was an upstep in the first game. We may have to watch the replay at youtube.com/RonSponson to get a definitive result on that, as we don't have challenge flags. But yeah, I think the first showboat is going to come in the first 5 minutes.
So
first 2 minutes.
We've seen Intercest and we've seen Boostin Dynamo especially come back from leads and deficits even greater than this one. So they're definitely not out of this yet. But if you look at Rolling Golden Boulders, so far this season they only have 2 regulation wins, but they have 4 overtime wins. That's twice as many as the second top overtime winning team. So these guys know how to play when it hits overtime. Boostin's gonna, if they want to win this, the odds are they're gonna have to win it in regulation, because things aren't looking too good if they put it past that. And interestingly enough as well, Rolling Golden Boulders, wait, what was the other fun fact I was going to pull out of the hat? I guess I can't quite remember it, but either way, I'm rooting for them. That's what it was. They are giant killers so far this season. Tears, the first team in the league, #1 overall, they only have 1 loss this season, and their 1 loss has come at the hands of the Rolling Golden Boulders. This team, they know how to play well against good teams. It seems like they rise to the occasion. When they play good teams, they bring out their A game. And so far, that's what they've done. I'm curious to see if they can get 1 game off of Intercest's Boostin going into the second half.
It looks like they're poised to do it, coming into this one with a 2-cap lead. We're just about ready to start.
Any predictions as to who the first player to score will be?
I'm going to go Viles.
Viles, yeah, he had a quiet first half, I want to say. I'm going to say Ego. I believe in him. I believe in the two-way waffle. He's going to toast a couple people this half.
You're just trying to butter him up.
You know, I'm Canadian. I'm all about that maple syrup, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
And JJ gets a nice boost grab, but Viles can't quite set himself up for the handoff. And some good prevent defense by Genesis and Iblis here.
And unfortunately, Viles is alone in base as these bombs get diffused. They're good elements to be able to use to open up grabs. You'd like to have a partner there. Finally, JJ Poole does get there, trying to set up the handoff. Genesis reads right through it and is able to keep that reset.
And this is something we saw Lagprone do a lot back in Season 9. It's something that we're seeing some of the top-level teams do a lot this season, and it's when an offensive player spawns and the defenders are struggling to get a return, they'll put a third player on defense to help out with the defenders, and that's what Pinox did there. He was about to head to the enemy base, but he saw that his teammates might have been having a bit of difficulty getting that return. And just a second, Viles gets past. He's going to have to pull a couple jukes to wait for Intercest in the tag pro, but he doesn't now. JJ Poole gets out, boosts out, and Genesis counters the boost with one of her own and keeps the score at 5-3. Some great defensive play there by RGB. And
absolutely
what I was saying,
filthy boost from Genesis there through the portal, getting that return. What looked to be a good potential for a cap there.
Yeah, Boostin had a couple really juicy chances to cap, and unfortunately they couldn't make it happen, but credit has to go where it's due. Now they have to get back in position, get on the flag in time, and Intercest was hoping that he could catch them off guard, but it doesn't really happen that way in the end.
Nope.
Some savvy offensive defense positioning by Pinox, who, as I was mentioning earlier, stayed back on defense to help his teammates when the occasion beckoned. And he tried to get a little split there. It didn't really work out, but the guy's been showing some good tag pro IQ so far this half.
Couple rolling bombs here for Boostin Dynamo, and Intercest debates boosting and getting on offense. You could see the wheels turning in his head on that one. JJ Poole with the flag, going to get contained, and now Peanut with a good chance here with the tag pro escort. He's out past 2. Genesis is going to be able to swoop down. Only a couple seconds left on this tag pro. There's a boost in base, and that's going to easily get another cap here. RGB with twice as many caps as Boostin Dynamo after that one.
And Peanut nearly gets the bomb snipe, but he doesn't, and now beautiful snipe, counter snipe by JJ Poole. Intercest trying to pull a couple moves, wait for the blocks, and somehow he hasn't been tagged yet, but he does just in time, and now Viles baits the boost off of regrab by Melonhead, baits his second team boost, and now if he can juke past Iblis, he'll be past 3.
And there's the return. JJ Poole off this bomb and narrowly slips through, picks up the flag, and power-ups are coming up here as well. He might be able to use that. He doesn't need to. Coming into base, a good boost block from Intercest, but nice positioning.
Almost had the shake and bake, but unfortunately for him, the offensive defense was savvy, and they just had that extra little pixel. Viles sneaks past. He's got the boost block. And what a beautiful team play by Boostin Dynamo. Gets that cap, ties up the half, brings it back within 2 after what has to be said is a stellar team play.
Intercessed with the gruesome boost block, just opening up the lane for that cap, and now a bit of life is being breathed into Boostin Dynamo. 6 minutes and 20 seconds still, plenty of time to go, only 2 caps to make up, and Iblis has the flag coming into base. Stan getting a little bit of anti-reef from Melonhead, who uses this team boost, and right now they're just trying to get out of base.
Yeah, a nice bomb by Stan, gets out, and now we've got 2 chasers. Iblis, both defenders right now holding flags, and they're both doing a good job at it. Right as I say that, they both die, of course.
And good job by Intercest. It backs off the tag pro, allows JJ Poole forward to lead him, and now watch for this snipe from Iblis from the top of the map.
Meanwhile, JJ Poole tries to help out with the tag pro. I believe he has 0 tags right now, and he just got his first tag from the tag pro, so things didn't really go his way there. Unfortunately for that tag pro lead.
JJ Poole peels off and goes on the chase, hunting down Peanut with the flag into the corner, and Stan gets a return. Intercess trying to just boost in, bombing as well. Very creative usage of these different map elements, and just really teasing the Rolling Golden Boulders here.
As Clovar would say, Inter's using those map elements. He's using the map like a toolbox, and that's what happens when you got 2 really good flag carriers. You saw Inter trying to use the bomb to bomb Pinox into his teammate, and it almost worked too.
And now Melonhead with a couple seconds at a return for cap. JJ Poole with the flag. Power-up spawning at the top right of the map. It's a rolling bomb. JJ Poole can't pick up either rolling bomb. And Viles bombs out and leaves that rolling bomb for Peanut. Bit of an error.
And Peanut ends up getting his own return off of it. Viles, who could have had a bomb return most likely had he stayed there, and that would have been a cap for Boostin, but instead, it looks like Intercess maybe has his own chance of capping. He's going to go for the twirl around, but Genesis reads it and is able to get there in time.
It's the top of the map. And we've got bomb defuse. Stan gets returned. Genesis with the flag. Got this boost. Getting the return. And do we have the boat? No. Genesis decides not to boat. 3 cap lead. Gonna make it 4
Do we have a boat
here.
now? Boat, please.
Nah, not a boat either.
And now, taking a 4 cap lead with 4 minutes left, our RGB. Boostin's in trouble right now.
The bomb somehow keeps Melonhead alive. And geez. An unfortunate series of events here for Boostin Dynamo. Melonhead trying to get towards that power-up. Viles with the flag, and Peanut is just waiting alone on this rolling bomb. Very gratuitous power-up spawn here for Peanut, coming into base, looking to extend their lead, already up by 4. And JJ Poole's trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. Peanut getting his own return.
Oh my god, Viles pulls something out of his hat, manages to get the return right in the nick of time. And after it looked like Peanut was going to pull another one of his get your own return, get a cap plays, he's able to get the return, but not quite enough work as Melonhead comes in with a cap of his own, extends the lead to 5, and now RGB have taken full control of the game with 3 minutes left.
Get your own return kind of sounded like choose your own adventure. And RGB is certainly choosing an adventure here with a 5 cap lead. We've speculated like they cap a lot, but they were also able to keep Boostin from capping so far this half, and so far pulling ahead with quite a few extra caps.
Yeah, only 4 caps against so far. With the their cap differential this half is larger than their cap differential all season long. So this is definitely out of the ordinary, but you can tell all the players on RGB are rising to the occasion. Now, Pinox takes out the boost. That might end up hurting them in the end, as he's unable to snipe Viles with it.
Viles trying to pull a few moves here and is successful with them, even juking the juice from Melonhead, but Melonhead closes in from behind. JJ Poole just boosting past everyone with this bomb, and right now he's not really giving any fucks, coming into base, and Genesis finally getting the return.
And Stan gets the second return in quick succession. Now they've got 2 people in base, potentially 3 blocks. JJ's going to go back on Reef, try to get that grab chain going. Viles gets a cap in, and now Boostin looks like they're hungry for more caps.
Will we see the biggest comeback in MLTP history here as Viles has the flag? I don't even know if that's accurate.
Oh, that's 100%
it would be a large
accurate.
comeback.
This is definitely the biggest comeback in MLTP history. 100%. It depends when you start the history, I suppose. In all of MLTP Season 14 Week 7 history.
that were streamed by ShotCallers.
That's a pretty apt qualifier. So Intercess goes for a nice grab, gets the return off the tag pro, and now in base. Oh, JJ Poole is going to try to use his rolling bomb potentially to bomb the tag pro away, and Inter is able to clean up hopefully in base with that tag pro.
Yes.
Peanut somehow manages to glitch his way past, stays alive just long enough to prevent JJ from capping. And JJ gets a split in. He's going to have to get a couple blocks if he wants to cap.
Got him.
He's patient. He's patient, but Genesis shuts the door once again. Genesis has been immovable so far this half.
And watch this here. Genesis somehow staying alive. Iblis taking the flag out. JJ Poole sitting on this boost at the bottom of the map. They end up kissing, and things are looking bleak for Boostin Dynamo.
With a minute left, RGB just has to be patient, stick to the fundamentals. As long as you don't concede more than 3 caps in the next 53 seconds, you're good. You can do this.
There's the Juke Juice intercessed with the flag. Out past a few. Got a rolling bomb. Peanut has got a bit of headway here, but Stan picks up this tag pro.
And a
nice
great
snipe
snipe by
from
Iblis. Yeah. Iblis, who's got his 21st tag of the half so far with that. And Genesis, unfortunately, spikes. You have to wonder, oh! Peanut gets a beautiful split, and that's enough to stay alive long enough to prevent Boostin from completing the comeback. It's probably physically impossible at this point for them to get 3 caps in the next 20 seconds. And things are looking pretty good for RGB, getting their first win of the evening against a dominant Boostin Dynamo team. Wasn't expecting this, didn't see this coming, I'm not gonna lie.
Stan on his tippy toes out in that left side of the map, somehow holding onto that flag, not getting returned, but it is all for naught as the final seconds tick off, and Roland Golden Boulder showing a pretty dominant first game here, beating the giant Boostin Dynamo.
And speaking of dominant, look at Iblis, 22 returns this half. And I mean, you have to give praise where it's due. Boostin had a fair amount of prevent this game, but the difference between the capping for RGB and Boostin was that RGB were seizing their opportunities. You got a lot of timely returns from the RGB defense, and they were able to capitalize. They had their flag carriers in the right position to capitalize on that. No matter how much prevent you have, and God knows, Boostin's had a lot of prevent so far this season. They've been one of the best teams at that. If you don't have your offensive players in the right positions for it, then you can't capitalize, and RGB were really good at keeping Boostin's offense at bay, or at the very least, keeping them in RGB's half and preventing them from getting to the other half of the field in time to capitalize on all that prevent. So great job by RGB securing a Game 1 win, and before we head into Game 2, we got some little jump cup action, don't we?
Yeah, that's correct. It looks like at the moment we've got 3 players, the Bob 18, Pandora, and Frozen.
It looks like Protag's going to make his way into this, who has I believe he had the night off tonight, and he's going to be playing on Tuesday. I could be mistaken here, but either way, taking advantage of this opportunity. It's rare that you get to see major league players in here. Now you got 2 of them with Frozen and Protagonist, 2 of the most dominant major league players this season, no less. So let's see if that dominance can translate into Jump Cup.
Interesting storyline too. Frozen jumped onto the leaderboard last week, 6th place with 171. I imagine he's looking to beat that and see if he can't climb up the ladder.
And he was telling us in chat last week how he was disappointed with his performance. He felt like he threw away about 100 points at the beginning of that Jump Cup performance. So maybe he can make up for it. He definitely knows the technique. He knows the technique now. He knows where that grail is. He knows how to get into the pint. So the question is, will the other players prevent him from doing so?
I think he's got a decent chance. A lot of this map is understanding how to play it, and that pint class is really monumental. He's got to watch out, though, to see if the players don't work against him here. And right now, we're starting off. Looks like the Bob 18 and Frozen are just battling here, and Frozen's just going to take a bit of a slurp.
And Frozen off to an early lead, and it looks like he's not going to relent. The Bob 18 follows right behind, and lucky for him, the power-up spawn just in time. Frozen's going to go for his 3rd gulp, and he's taken a really dominant lead to start this off. 30 seconds in, and he's already broken the triple digits.
There's another one from Frozen. Frozen is just on a pattern. He has got his eyes on the prize here as he gets yet another full drain of this pint glass on the right-hand side and showing no signs of slowing down.
Could we see the first 300 power-up performance? He's already at 167, and we're not yet halfway through.
He's on pace. Gotta watch out.
Ooh. Oh, rhythm might be broken. Bob's going to try to come in, get a slurp of his own. And And Bob, who's been running the jump cut fair amount, or for almost every week this season, he's definitely had his own share of experience with the map.
Frozen just hit the rim of the glass, bounced off of it, careening into the spikes at the bottom of the map, and now there's just a mess at the bottom left here as players are trying to reestablish this rhythm. The Bob 18 has a good chance here as Frozen might, oh boy, just lucked out.
Frozen's at 199. The record to beat right now is 276 from Ball Don't Lie, and Frozen gets the sponge just in time, up to 229. The Bob 18's at 139, Protag at 88, and Pandora at 50. Things are looking really good for Frozen. He's only 17 away.
He's leveraging that gravity well. Didn't do it long enough that time, but he's been leveraging this gravity well to just slow him down a little bit and let the power-ups respawn, and now he's going to sneak in.
And this is it! With 11 seconds left, Frozen breaks the 300 mark, jumps to first place on the leaderboard. And
Really
does he get a
worked by
last little
Frozen.
shot of the power-up before the game ends? He does. He ends the game with 331. The Bob 18 with 226. I believe that's good enough for the scoreboard as well, the leaderboard as well. So we got 2 new faces on the leaderboard. And Frozen captures the top spot from Bob Don't Lie after a dominant jump cut performance.
Clovar's suggesting that Frozen has created a jump cup bot. Yeah, we got to make sure that in future weeks we enable the no scripts option, maybe, because that's quite the controversy.
We'll have to talk to Ank. We know how good he is at preventing bots and like from making their way into competitive Tag Pro.
The no scripts option will give us 100% assurance that no one is cheating.
Exactly, just like in Tag Pro groups.
Yes. But, you know, I could see why people would suspect that. Breaking 300 and breaking it with ease, 331, that's going to clearly supplant him past BDL at the top of the leaderboard.
Now, the only question is, at this point, can anyone break the 400 barrier? Because it seemed like, had he not messed up his little jumps there with the Grail about halfway through, he might have been able to get close to 400. That's
it's
what I'm going to be looking
possible.
out for.
Did he mess it up, or were there other players that kind of got in his way?
Probably a bit of both, not gonna lie.
That's the difficult part, right? Like you could practice this, and you could get to the point where you could hit it every single time. But there's 3 other players in this.
So Ron, I know you're a big fan of the pep talk. Going into Game 2, what do you think Inter and company should be telling each other in the Boostin Dynamo channel?
I think the biggest thing that they have to be keeping in mind is that they're starting this with a fresh slate. They've got the momentum working against them, right? And so going into this second game, I didn't know how to exactly articulate what I'm trying to say, other than the fact that like it didn't go well for them game 1. They're going into game 2. They're starting fresh, and I think they need to start to think back of the context of their season and realize that they've got the talent. They just need to start executing.
Now, what I'm curious to see is how both teams do on a competitive staple like Pilot. This map has been played more than literally any other map in competitive history. And so both teams have a lot of veterans who have a lot of experience on this map, and we might be seeing some really next level plays with those mid bombs. I think that might be the difference maker. Whoever can utilize those mid bombs, especially the bottom mid bombs, the most usefully, they might end up taking this matchup. And with players like Intercest, Stan, and JJ Poole and Viles, these guys are masters of the mind games, masters of the meta plays, and I could see them trying to put these to good use.
And maybe we still have not gotten to Showboat. That prediction has failed a couple times tonight. I've got my whiskey just sitting aside, ready for the sip.
If you don't end up drinking it, feel free to mail it my way. I'll have a quick sip on your behalf.
I'm gonna have to pay for those import taxes, though. I don't know.
Yeah, it might actually be a federal crime, so maybe hold off on the mailing for now.
We'll wait until the season ends, at least.
So we're off to a relatively tame start to the half, but just as I say this, JJ Poole squeaks out, grabs the boost, and now they've got double blocks. It looked like he might have been able to boost in through the middle, or rather walk in through the middle. Instead, he chooses to boost in through the bottom, and I guess it just wasn't happening for Boostin.
Peanut using this boost to open up a grabbing opportunity. The bomb comes up as well. Melonhead being a bit aggressive, and that's going to slow things down here.
I like Melonhead's attempt. He tried to use the bomb radius to bomb the chasers away, but unfortunately for him, it just didn't quite do it just enough, and Panox got tagged with just a pixel to spare.
Peanut trying to do something creative with this boost, and he's pulling off Melonhead again with the support, a block on those boosts. Great job, Peanut, cutting under, using these bombs as well. Rolling bomb spawns. He's going to fake it and double back, and he's got 3 ahead, though. Very difficult position here for Peanut to be in.
And doesn't leave much room for Melonhead to do much for this handoff. And he's going to get returned by a juke-juiced Intercess.
I will admit, though,
tied.
I love the support offense I'm seeing with Melonhead. Not afraid to use all these boosts and bombs, not to get a grab, but to actually push the defenders away and open up a potential opportunity for Peanut to get out.
You saw him toast a couple of the Boostin Dynamo defenders with those boost blocks, and something I believe we're going to be seeing a lot this half. Both of these teams probably. And now Viles gets out. He's past 2, maybe past 3. A great bomb block. Pinox gets blocked out, and Viles comes in, walks in for the first cap of the game, but now Pinox is going to use the boost, goes the other way, and it looks like we're going to tie the game up immediately after. This is some back and forth action, picking up where we left off.
Using the boom for the quick counter cap. Very well done here for RGB, and now we've got a 1-1 game.
Taking a page out of my favorite commentator's handbook, using the booms to his advantage.
And now JJ Poole in base with just a few seconds left on this tag pro, going to open up a chance here. Wow, amazing snipe here from Melonhead. Melonhead has just been all over these boosts today.
Good golly. Melonhead has been the boost master on Pilot right now. Was Pilot played in the Season 10 Super Bowl? I think it was. Maybe he's just recapturing his Season 10 form where they won. He's getting flashbacks from that tonight.
Peanut getting returned, opening up a grab here for Melonhead, but Intercess just slams right down, and Stan closing off that bottom.
And that's something that he learned in prison, to close off that bottom.
Another round of power-ups coming up here, and Peanut boosting from across the map, going to double back and pick up this rolling bomb. Going to use this on offense. Melonhead trying a few distraction tactics, doesn't quite work off, and Intercess in base. Viles with the tag pro as well. Couple tag pros for Boostin Dynamo. Viles just shoving himself around the map using these bombs. I don't know who put these bombs in all these crazy positions to open up plays like that, but well done.
And now Intercess is past 3 maybe. He's going to try to double back with the jukes. Unfortunately for him, Melonhead manages to get out with the grab of his own, and we're going to go for a bit of a chase fest. That was absolutely hilarious, and now terrible timing for RGB as Intercess comes in uncontested, gets the nub in. That's a double drink for you guys following at home, but a terrible teammate friendly fire kill there from RGB after boosting their teammate into a return. Unfortunate timing there.
Great job, though. Makes up for it. Genesis with the bomb snipe to get the return. Another round of power-ups just moments away here. Everyone's positioning for them.
A big fight for the bottom left power. We got 5 players vying for it, and it ends up being a juke juice. That would have been a good power-up for RGB to get to try to recapture that lead, or rather, tie the game up.
Looking like a chance for a nub step there. Genesis with the flag gets returned by Stan. Viles coming in, Boostin Dynamo looking to extend the lead by another cap. Peanut with the flag, and nice bomb use. I like the idea. Intercess doubling in and getting the return, and now Viles has a chance here. Watch for this bomb. Yeah, it didn't quite pan out the way they were thinking it would.
It was worth a shot. I liked what I was seeing, but really smart play by RGB there. In just a second, it looks like we might be seeing something special here. Vile's going to try to double, go all around. Genesis and Melonhead trying to position themselves not to get blocked out, and they're able to delay long enough for Pinox to come help out. But what I was saying earlier in response to the boost block attempt, what I saw RGB do is spread out both of their OD players so that even if one gets blocked out with the boost, the other one's in the proper position to get the return. So they kind of had to force JJ Poole into a tough decision. Do I try to block one in particular and put myself out of position, or just use the bomb to help my flag carrier push him into the cap? And they ended up forcing him into a tough decision, and that helped them prevent the cap from happening.
Bit of stumbling there as Melonhead was positioned to grab the flag, but chooses not to, obviously because of the tag pro, but didn't really have any opportunity for Iblis to grab, although he does have it now. Stan and Intercess closing on it, and JJ Poole almost pulling the nub in. There's a nice snipe from Intercess. JJ Poole's got a chance here to cap it somehow. No.
Doesn't trust the blocks.
Not on the same page there.
It didn't look like the blocks were really there, though, in all fairness, but that was a close attempt. And I love what I'm seeing from Stan. His blocks have been rock solid all half long. And it's a big part of why they're in the lead right now.
Power-up's coming up soon, starting with the bottom right power-up. Viles is the only one position for that. Got a couple players swooping in, but Viles is somehow going to get that 2v1 and unfortunately has to use it right away. Couple rolling bombs and a tag pro. Let's see which team is able to get that tag pro. Viles is out with the flag, though. He's got some blocks, and Intercess just sits and watches it unfold before his very eyes. 2-cap lead for Boostin Dynamo.
And Intercess uses the bomb perfectly to annihilate that tag pro lead and get the return. And once again, the cap is due to a beautiful rock-solid block from Stan, forces Pinox to pick a direction, then pushes him in that direction and opens up the lane for his teammate to come in and get an easy cap. Great play by Boostin. It's what we expect to see from a team of this caliber.
Peanut with the flag, gonna try to do something with his bomb here, but Stan forces the hand. Somehow, Peanut stays alive. JJ Poole getting returned. Peanut still staying alive. Genesis of the blocks. Iblis as well. Peanut trying to pull some moves. Stan gets a return.
I feel like whenever I watch Pinox play, he's literally on the edge of his seat juking. It feels like he doesn't really know what's happening, but somehow is staying alive. He's just a magical player like that. So slippery. It's almost impossible to get a clean tag on him. It's always some sort of weird almost tag, and then you have to chase him for a few pixels and then force him into a corner. The guy's got skill.
Genesis was vying for that middle power-up, that tag pro, by trying to use the bombs and didn't pan out, and it looks like Stan is going to be able to pick it up. Let's see if he can do anything with this tag pro for his flag carrier. Viles, Stan is opening up a bit of opportunity. He didn't get any tags in, but he was able to buy Viles at least a bit of a couple inches of comfort there.
And more importantly, it was a return for a cap situation for Roland Golden Boulders, rather. And all those plays by JJ Poole, the blocks, and or rather from Stan, the blocks with the tag pro, prevented the cap from happening. So more than just helping out Viles, they prevented the cap.
Genesis just pushing Intercess into the boost. Melonhead boosting past Stan. Passed a couple here. Intercess is going to have to do something with his bomb. Going to miss on it. Melonhead with the flag still. Wow, nice bomb from Melonhead. Intercess closes in, had the angle, got the return, and a bit of a pump advantage here for RGB. Pay attention to this. Rolling bomb grab with the tag pro escort. This could be good. Viles has to be careful right now. Rolling bomb gets diffused. Viles has a return for cap for a moment, but don't be fooled by this tag pro escort. It's going to be a good chance here for Rolling Golden Boulders to cap. Return for cap. There's the return. There's the cap. Rolling Golden Boulders cuts the lead to just 1.
And with a minute and a half left, things are looking really good. Momentum shifting. You see Roland Golden Boulders picking up some steam, and they're going to be looking to charge full steam ahead with Melonhead. Got the flag. Stan boosts around, ends up spiking himself, but forces Melonhead back into base, and Boostin's able to quell the bleeding and get back control of the game.
And now Melonhead to the bottom of the map using these boosts as well. Getting returned by Viles. A bit of a reset on both sides of the map, and the final round of Pops is just moments away.
And now JJ Poole is going to try to catch RGB unaware. Melonhead does a good job to stay ahead, but then...
Oh no!
What the heck? What just happened? Melonhead boosts out of the way, and then Pinox misses the bomb and leaves the lane wide open for Boostin to come in for the cap. And with 35 seconds left, Boostin takes the 2-cap lead back. What an odd series of plays.
And now Intercess coming with this rolling bomb, trying to use it to get his own return. He's going to use it. It pushes the return into Viles, indirectly getting his own return. And now Intercess has 3 players to beat. Gonna try to back up to use this bomb, but Iblis is not fooled, positioning himself expertly to get that return.
Intercess, who already has a cap this game to go along with his 18 tags, he has definitely been a dominant player for Boostin. That's what they needed from their captain. And I believe that's a huge reason why they're in the lead going into half number 2.
And there we have it. The final seconds expire. Boostin Dynamo. This game was a bit back and forth, but Boostin Dynamo with a 2-cap lead going into the second half. I think that famed Sponson pep talk might have worked.
Perhaps so. It seems like they came out all guns blazing, and they took an early lead. Unfortunately for them, it was canceled probably about 3 seconds later. But riding off of that momentum, they were able to get a couple more quick caps in and capitalize on the mistakes, and that's something that they were not doing on Scorpio. There were a lot of mistakes by RGB, and Boostin just wasn't able to take advantage of them the way they did tonight. Now, to be fair, I think RGB might have made their biggest mistake so far of the evening with the Melonhead boost and Pinox bomb fiasco. And unfortunately for them, that's going to cost them the 4th cap of the game, and they're back to 2-cap deficit. And roles are basically reversed at this point. Going into half number 2, this time it's RGB behind by 2 caps. Do you see a comeback in the cards?
I'm not sure that I see one. I think that so far, Boostin Dynamo has a bit of momentum going to this one. 2-cap lead is going to be very difficult, but Rolling Golden Boulders, they like to cap a lot. A bit below your 100 caps, though, I will admit. You've got a bit of, ways to go.
Quick maths. How many caps do we need to reach 100 caps in this last half? How many were there in game 1? Was it 9-4 final score?
9-5, so 14.
Was it 9-5?
Yep.
Okay, 14. And then
6 is 20, so 80 caps to go.
I'm predicting a 41-39 game in favor of RGB, and it's going to overtime.
However, if it's going to overtime, then you got to be worried.
Overtime could be endless. It could be 100, or I guess 50 1-to-1 halves.
It could happen.
Quick question. If there are 50 halves of overtime, will you be here to commentate all 50 of them?
I might leave around 40. That's about all. I think that's all I'm contractually obligated to do.
How far would 50 halves bring us? Would that be like tomorrow night?
We might be to next week.
Well, yeah, tomorrow night technically. Oh no, you're right. Never mind.
It's an important question because last couple days ago we had the Tears versus Red Hot Chili Poppers, and that went into 2 overtimes.
Yeah, you and BDL were calling that one. That must have been exhausting.
It was, yeah. I didn't have enough beers. Let me tell you that. So we're just moments away from starting the second half, which may or may not be the final half, as discussed previously with the overtime possibility. Boostin Dynamo coming in with a comfortable 2-cap lead, but they shouldn't get too comfortable with it.
And if there's one team that likes overtime this season, it's the Rolling Golden Boulders. 5 of their games so far have been decided in overtime, and we've only had 12 games played. So that goes a long way to show how tough RGB have been playing their games. They're playing them close, and they're playing them gritty.
And JJ Poole with a bit of nitty-gritty of his own. Gonna weave past everyone. Pass 4. Watch for this bomb. Stan is going to deny that opportunity. And Boostin Dynamo extending the lead further, making that even more comfortable.
And that was an easy play by Boostin, or rather by JJ Poole, because of some amazing defensive work. Getting 2 quick returns in succession. RGB should know better than get returns quickly twice in succession like that. And they end up paying for it. And now Iblis is going to try to stay back, but on a map like Pilot, staying back as a third man sometimes isn't an optimal strategy just due to how quickly you can get from one half to the other of the map. And now Pinocchio pulls a nice move, but spikes himself at the end. It looked like he might have been able to weave past 3, get the juggle in, and potentially get a cap of his own, but no such luck.
And now things are looking dangerous yet again here. Vile's going to be able to escort JJ Poole with this tag pro, and Genesis and Melodette are going to have to make some magic happen. JJ Poole got the boost, lining it up, and just drives it home. And now a 4-cap lead with 8.5 minutes to go. Boostin Dynamo is making this one seem like they got it in the bag.
And a great use of the tag throw by Boostin, but I have to say it seemed like Pinocchio tried to play at low risk by boosting ahead, but that ended up costing his team the cap. When you got the boost like that and you're sitting on it, the tag throw is frozen in place, and that allows an opening should the flag carrier make his way ahead or behind. That opens up a lane for you to get potentially that game-saving or cap-saving return. Instead, he chooses to boost ahead and basically says goodbye to any chance of getting that return. And in the end, his team pays for it.
Questionable flaccid there from Genesis, but looks like Pinocchio ends up returning himself, basically. But Intercept picking up this tag pro and going to keep it on defense. At this point, 4-cap lead, can't be too cautious, I guess.
And Genesis is going to get a grab in.
Wow.
Intercept is catching up with the tag throw. And unfortunately for Genesis, Inter just had the angle on her.
Peanut boosting the base. The tag pro runs out just in time. And Melonhead coming in from behind as well. Stan and Intercess just doubling up, playing man-to-man here. And looks like there's the return.
And a beautiful rub grab by Viles. Genesis is not biting on the jukes though, and we're back to a reset here. And action seems to have calmed down a bit after a big start by Boostin Dynamo. Now they've got a 4-cap lead. Past
Here we
three
go.
is Ego, and he's gonna have to
2-on-1.
use this bomb usefully. JJ Poole comes rushing out, which was a smart decision with 2 blockers, and ends up getting the clutch return and keep the lead at 4. Now Pinox once again somehow makes his way between 2 snipers and nearly survives.
Not only does JJ Poole get the 2-on-1 offensive D positioning to get the return, but he got out of base, although got turned around on, got a return. Genesis getting a return as well. Now Viles with the chance here to extend the lead even further with what could be the nail in the coffin. No, Melonhead, a great job getting that return and extending their chance at potentially staying in this one here. Stan with the flag. I think Rolling Golden Boulders needs to get this momentum switched. Right now, they're just on the defense.
I know we've said the word momentum a lot this stream, but in fact, we've said it a lot this stream. But if you look at Boostin right now, they're in firm control of the game. They have twice as many power-ups as RGB going into this 6th minute mark, and they also have so much more hold. They have 3 times more hold almost, and it just goes to show how much control they have over the second half. It's been non-stop onslaught of offense from Boostin Dynamo. RGB is struggling to keep up, and you can tell they're just getting these last gasp returns, but they're not getting any action of their own going, and that's something that's sorely needed right now for them if you want to get back into this.
Melonhead taking this rolling bomb on offense. Stan trying to do something with his boost, and Melonhead uses it, gets a grab off, but gonna get contained.
Great
Setting
handoff.
up, yeah, handoff for Pronounced.
Pinocchio unfortunately bombs himself. It's not his first encounter with the spike so far this half.
Stan boosts straight up to the spike, and that's unfortunate opportunity, and Melonhead is going to take advantage of it. JJ Poole yet again rushing forward. He knows exactly when he needs to extend forward to get off of those blocks. Great offensive D several times here from JJ Poole.
Yeah, JJ Poole has been on fire in preventing these caps, and that doesn't really show up on the scoreboard, but he has basically been the difference between this being a 2-cap game and a 4-cap game, and his team has him to thank for keeping it this far ahead.
Genesis effectively didn't get the return, or technically didn't, but effectively did, forcing the bomb there into the spike, and now Iblis is going to be able to pick up this juke juice. Melonhead's going to double back. Oh, Stan, great job on that boost.
And now JJ Poole grabs with the rolling bomb. He's going to use it. He defuses it against Genesis, gets past Genesis, is going to try to hit the bomb, but couldn't pick up the bomb in time. And now, if you're Boostin, I know you run. Oh my god! Intercepts with a Magic Pigeon-esque snipe off the bomb into the return and keeps the score at bay. Now he's got the flag. He's going to try pulling some moves. Gets some help from JJ Poole on the bomb. Baits someone into a spike, and now he's coming in. He's going to try the straight line juke. Doubles back, goes for the shake and bake, and now he's coming in, but he's back behind 3. Intercepts with some non-stop moves pulling. Returns getting. This guy is going to do it all.
Stan a bit early with the boost block. Oh no, Genesis! Oh man! Just narrowly out of position there. Boostin Dynamo extending the lead to 5.
Intercepts with the play of the game. And a series that starts with an insane boost ends with him going around the world for a cap. This guy can do it all. I can't believe what I just saw. Intercepts extending the lead to 5 caps.
Peanut with the flag coming up off the wall and intercepts quick behind Melonhead with 2 returns, almost 3 tags rather, and now gets the return.
And JJ Poole has to stay alive, and he does just long enough to prevent the cap and allows Stan to get the return. Once again, JJ Poole, just a stalwart on offensive defense. Now, Ron, I know you're a big fan of the 3-0 strategy. Do you think that's what RGB should be doing right now?
They're down by 5. They got to start making magic happen. This is 3-0 down territory, as they say.
I'm coining that phrase as we speak. The classic Ron 3-0 down strategy.
And if they don't, they're going to remain down by 5. Round of power-ups. Let's see if they can win some of these. They have 3 players committing to this rolling bomb power-up. Got to spread out a bit more. And 2 tag pros. Very unlucky RNG here as Boostin Dynamo swoops up a couple tag pros.
And now
Boostin
Boostin goes for the 3-0 strategy.
Wow.
The double T's. They've got the double leads. And Miles spikes himself. Unfortunate for Boostin, aren't able to capitalize on both of their tag pros, but it doesn't really matter for them. As long as the other team doesn't get the tag pros, they're happy.
And now Melonhead in base. RGB's got to get this flag out. They got to get it out quickly. They look for some desperation grabs starting about now because they've got 5 caps to make up. Make it 6 potentially. They've got the blocks off on Stan. Great blocks by Stan. JJ Poole doubling back at the right time around the corner, but Iblis has the flag.
I thought for sure JJ Poole had that cap if he tried for it, but I think he recognized that the block wasn't there and doubled back. Some really savvy play there. Potentially, had he tried to push it, he could have gotten it. But at this point in the game, when you've got a 5-cap lead, you're not going for the flashy plays. You're just going for the conservative plays.
Oh!
And a beautiful cap by Pinocchio, but is it too little too late?
I don't know. He bounced off the wall. They have a tag pro on base. Genesis just has to get past Intercest. A great boost there, but Stan closing up the top gap. And now Iblis is in base with this tag pro. Maybe able to open up a bit of a grab. No, unwise bomb in, but Iblis just says, okay, I'll open up my own grab. Grabs the flag, gets the return. Intercept to the flag, gets returned as well. Oh, man.
Anticlimactic, but once again, Stan coming up big, gets the return, and what could have been a cap-saving return because Viles looked like he might have been out of position, and Stan comes and saves the day.
JJ Poole getting past Iblis, maybe. Yes, he does. He's got the bomb as well, doubling back, just sitting on this bomb. Peanut, Pinox forces it, and Iblis closing in. Final round of power-ups coming up. 4-cap lead for Boostin Dynamo.
And it looks like RGB are going to pick them up. Melonhead's got the greens. Will he take them on offense?
Oh, decisive return here from Intercest. Getting another return. Intercest just closing up, sweeping up shop here, as it were, as the final 30 seconds are counting down.
And Melonhead grabs with the tag pro, or rather, should I call it the green ring of death, as Smiley 2 would like me to call it. Back in the day, the G-Rod.
Oh, no.
And
Genesis again.
A bit of friendly fire there, and that basically ends all hopes of the comeback. 4 caps ahead. Boostin looks right on track to take this game, too, and to go for the split.
Genesis looking to make up for that blunder. No, stand there to get in her way. And now Viles out past 3. Melonhead with the flag.
2,
Final seconds are going to tick off, and this is going to be a split. Boostin Dynamo winning the second game 7-3.
And Intercess with another 18 return, 1 cap game. But I have to say Stan has to be what I would call the unheralded, the unsung hero of Boostin Dynamo. All game long, he was putting in some great blocks, making sure the base was clear for their flag carriers to come in. And honorable mention to JJ Poole's awesome offensive defense, which could have been the difference between this being a 1-cap game and a 4-cap game as it ended. Now, guys in the chat, let us know, who do you want us to interview for this post-game show? Because there are so many stalwarts that I can't decide. How about you, Ron? If you were to pick one MVP from this Game 1, Game 2 debacle, who would it be?
I'm going to say, You caught me off guard here. I don't know if that, let's see. Who would I pick?
Ron didn't think anyone stood out. He wasn't a fan of any of this play. This is all child's play.
Pithy's picking Intercest.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. If a bit obvious, Intercess has been the star of this team since the very beginning, and once again he stepped up big when they needed him in Game 2. But what about you guys? Should we just bring in Intercess? I mean, he is the captain after all. I'd love to see what he has to say.
Intercest picking up 7 power-ups in that last half, making sure that he was dominating the power-up structure for his team. And they got a lot of tag pros, a couple moments of double T's opening up some capping opportunities for the team. And Intercest is, we're going to see if we can pull Intercest in for a bit of a post-game interview.
Oh boy.
So Intercess is in here with us. Inter, congratulations on that giant Game 2 performance. What do you think of your team's performance this week?
It was all right. I feel like we just come out kind of slow. I don't know why. That happened last week too. Like first game of the week, we just come out like not. I feel like we're just not gelling that well. But we picked it up in the second game for sure. Felt good.
Yeah,
you sweep or not, a split on that. Like the type of split we got is a lot better than losing the second game.
Oh, for sure. At least you come out with some optimism rather than some pessimism.
Yeah.
Now, you probably knew this already, but RGB was the team that has dealt Tears their only loss of the season so far. Did that factor into how you prepared for this game going into this week?
Honestly, we didn't really prepare too much for this week, which could be part of the problem with Game 1. But we played our last week's game on Tuesday, and that kind of like delayed scrimming on Pilot, which I guess was fine because we lost Scorpio. So I don't really know what happened, but preparation-wise, I think we're going to ramp it up come playoffs.
Now, what's interesting is we were talking about the pregame how RGB is one of the teams that has the most caps as well as caps against this season. They're a high event team, as we like to call them. There's just always a lot of caps in their games. And game one, half one, certainly started off like that. I believe there were 8 caps in the first 5 minutes. What did you tell your team as you fell behind 4-0?
Yeah, they kind of ran away with it. I think we had some like poorly timed grabs at the same time that like, I remember there was one time I was trying to boost ahead and then I got sphered and I just ended up taking the boost directly into our own spikes because like my keys didn't react as quickly as I expected.
I'll blame the keys.
But yeah, I think we just weren't smart when they had the flag out on both ends, like our defense and our offense, and that's why they ran up that cap train early on. But once we calmed it down, I feel like we were still in the game on Scorpio. Some things just didn't go our way.
Yeah.
So I'm not that upset with the loss.
That's fair. And we were talking at halftime how you guys probably had a bit of a pep talk going. We were speculating as to what was being said behind closed doors. So now that you're, what was being said behind closed doors at halftime?
There wasn't a whole lot. Basically, we felt like that was a loss. Like, we played center of attention, we lost on Giphy, and it was just, like, depressing. Like, we just got outplayed. This loss on Scorpio, like, wasn't that bad, and we were basically like, yeah, this is a team we can beat. And Stan played, like, super contained on Pilot. I don't know if you noticed, but he would just, like, stay towards the middle and, like, not get juked, basically. And
he was so
solid. It gave me the freedom to just, like, boost around and make, like, boneheaded plays that sometimes work. So that was mainly the pep talk, I think.
And finally, before we head out, who was your MVP from this week's performances?
Either team? Like both teams? Or
I suppose, give an MVP for both teams. Yeah, there you go.
For
Let's
our
be
team?
a nice, courteous stream.
For our team, no one on Scorpio, but Stan on... it didn't like show up in the stats, but Stan played really well on Pilot. Like, he just didn't get juked ever, and that's why I think they didn't get many caps.
Nice.
And then for their team... I feel like it's got to be Iblis. I didn't see what was going on the other end, but I know we struggled early on. Like, I think Iblis was forcing grabs or, like, just... He's good. He just gets returns.
Yeah, a guy is a return monster. He eats returns for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
We've said so in the past. Now, thanks again for coming in. And next time we stream you, please get some showboats in. We left the whiskey on the table untouched.
Yeah, that's our fault.
Gotta practice your boats, guys.
Yeah, I think we were so stressed out about winning the second game that we didn't even think about boating. But I'll keep that in mind next time.
Fair enough. Well, you're too respectful for us. No boats on this stream. Well, take care. Thanks again for coming in, and
Thanks
good luck
again,
going
guys.
forward.
Peace.
And a big thank you to Intercest for the post-game interview. I want to extend a thank you to both teams for a very entertaining evening of games here. A couple shout-outs for Jump Cup that I missed. Thank you to Indie Developer for the super map user script to allow us to customize the styling. The Bob 18 for running Jump Cup, and C-Flakes for some script support, and of course, Firefox Quantum. Thank you to Pithy for running the stream, Liquid for the co-commentary, and if you guys like the stream, make sure to follow us on Twitch, where you're going to find more entertaining and high-quality broadcasts each and every week. Replays are available at youtube.com/Ron Sponson. I am Ron Sponson, and we'll see you all next week.